Attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What's up? Welcome to Destination Station. As always, I'm Destin. Thank you for clicking on this stream, and thank you for being patient. I know a lot of people have been in the chat. We're using a different what do you call it? Like a different software, a different stream place other than StreamYard. So had some technical difficulties. Let me know in the comment section if my audio sounds okay, if the video is fine. I'm sorry to get done late. I don't know how long we're going to stream tonight, but this is our weekly Scream Talk. We've been trying to have a guest tonight, and we've just been kind of having some hiccups. So we're going to still try to figure this out in the meantime, but I wanted to go ahead and go live because I know y'all have been patiently waiting. And thank you so much for patiently waiting. Let me know if the audio's too loud too over my voice, or if this is a perfect thing. This is a different platform that I'm using tonight, so I just want to make sure it's okay. Usually I use StreamYard, but I'm kind of like tapped for the month on streaming, so I have had to veer to other places for the meantime. But so I'll probably use both in the future. Let me know which one you like more. The paid versions are very expensive monthly, so that's where those super chats and everything come in handy. It's not necessary, but we kind of work around everything as best as we can. And we love y'all. I love you. Thank you for being a part of Scream Talk. Hope you like this new little layout. Hope you like this platform. And y'all are the best for being patient, because this has just been a work in progress trying to learn all this stuff tonight. But I'm going to go ahead and get to the chat. Let me know. I don't mean to skip over anything, but let me know how the audio sounds on your end. Let me know, does this sound okay, or do I need to turn anything down, adjust anything? Because we were having some audio issues on backstage. So yeah, just let me know. Let me see here. Yes, thank you, Val. Thank you so much. Yes, please make sure to smash that like button. Stab it. Just stab the hell out of it. Yeah, again, let me just know on y'all's end if y'all can hear me pretty well. Can y'all hear me okay? Because that's the point, is for y'all to hear me okay. We're still going to try to get our guest in here as well. We're just having, like I said, some technical difficulties. All right, I'm going to go down the comment section and just see who's all in the house, and then we're going to get into some Scream Talk. We got Adam here, and just how many Scream movies do we need? That's just insane. We're already getting an 8th installment of the franchise. What the hell? I mean, I like this franchise, but come on, it has to end at some point. Adam, I respect your opinion, but I can't say that I agree, because this is my favorite film. This is my favorite franchise. This is what has kind of built my channel, and I think this is what's brought a lot of us together. Scream is one of those movies that could keep going on forever, because a lot of these other franchises. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, it doesn't have. I mean, it's starting to get up there, but it's keeping its quality, and it's keeping all its characters, for one. Other movies that are like way up here like this, it's not likely that they keep the quality and all the characters the same. So yeah. I respect your opinion, but like I love this franchise. I love it. I don't ever want it to end. I mean, there's a point where I kind of want it to kind of like take a different approach, different characters and everything. I think there is going to be a point in time that we do need to do that. And we have done that, but now we're veering back and correcting some wrongs, and I hope just get the payoff with 7 and 8. And then, maybe after 8, we can veer off and do a different thing. But, there's always going to be a new Ghostface. Always. And that's what's fun about these. Okay, thank you so much for letting me know talking Star Wars. Awesome. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. And does the background noise sound okay for y'all as well? Let's see here. Good to see you, Val. The General's in the house, aka hashtag Digital Bouncer. Kicking trolls' asses one stream at a time. Oh yeah. Talking Star Wars says, got my popcorn ready for this stream. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Popcorn. Oh, I went and saw Final Destination Bloodlines last night, and that popcorn smelled so good. But I ate popcorn earlier in the day because I get like the movie theater popcorn that they have at the movie theater, like the real stuff. I buy it off of Amazon. Because I used to work at this place called Tri-State Theater Supply, and it was like we supplied all the movie theaters in the Memphis area. So I knew the real shit that they used. So I ordered it offline, and I make it at home all the time. Like while I'm working, I work from home, and I'm just kind of like munching on some popcorn and drinking a Monster or something, And not really the healthiest the way that they do it, because it's a lot of sodium, a lot of butter. It's really coconut butter, coconut oil that gives it that flavor. But yeah, I am a popcorn nut. Popcorn nut. Green light. Val says, so needed this stream after a long day of cleanup after the tornadoes and oh, dang, I'm sorry, Val. I didn't know y'all were having bad weather. I hope you're okay. I hope nothing got destroyed. I hope everything is going all right with y'all. It's unfortunate. Yeah, bad. Well, we get some really bad weather here too. Let me see here. Wow, this is I think this app, this streaming service just needs a little bit of some kinks, like there's some kinks that needs to be ironed out. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm getting some weird stuff. Let me see here. And I'm just trying to make sure that everything's gonna be alright with this. Because I don't want this to drop. If it does drop, I'll say this right now in case something does happen with this stream, because we are using something different. We are going to be going live over on Marcus's channel. I shot him 6 times. We're going to be doing a Final Destination discussion because we did watch that, and we're going to be discussing that movie. What's up, dude? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, barely. Barely can hear you.
Oh, Lord. Hold on. Let me turn it up.
It sounds like you got a pillow over your face.
That's not good. How about now?
Same.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man.
There's something fishy going on because, like, while I was doing the stream, I'm gonna get back to the comments, everybody. But while I was doing the stream, like, audio started coming out of my laptop over here in the middle of nowhere. So, do you hear an echo or anything? Like, you hear me talking twice?
I don't hear you talking twice, but the audio, I will say the audio is not as clear as it is on, like, StreamYard.
Yeah, I think there's.
It feels like you're. I mean, I can hear you loud and clear, but
Yeah.
it kind of feels shady to a degree.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it might need to have to iron out some kinks. So we don't know how long we're going to go streaming tonight because this is the first time we're using this platform. but we're probably going to be going live. What'd you say, Marcus? We're going to go live over on your channel for Final Destination Talk.
Yeah, yeah. So I hope you guys can hear me throughout this stream. It may sound crazy right now, but I am talking. But yeah. So I don't know if you want to just go live for like 30 minutes, an hour, on doing stream talk. And then I can get the stream ready while we're talking.
Yeah. I'm going to start like a little bit of discussion and get everybody, and if everybody wants to kind of like migrate over to Marcus's channel, so because we know what we're dealing with StreamYard, and we know that it'll work to what we need it to do. But yeah, one thing I do want to go ahead before I even get back to the comment section, I do want to ask, because I had some ideas, and I want to see what your thoughts are with Scream 7 or Scream 8. Will Stu be in a correction facility or a mental institution if Stu is still alive present day? Let me know what you think about that.
I think so. I mean, I think it's not impossible. I personally think he's going to be out in the wild. I think he's going to be amongst the characters, just in the background. I don't think he is going to be in a mental institution, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. I'll even say this: maybe he was, and then somehow he found a way out. You know, because the interesting facet about this question is we know there is some type of mental patient. Ethan Embry's character is going to be playing a mental patient. So, does he have a connection to Stu? Does he know about Stu? That dynamic is going to be interesting because we also know Gail is supposed to go see him. So,
Yeah, and what was that rumor that they talked about? Somebody was supposed to like a inmate or somebody was supposed to escape a mental institution, and Gail hits them with the van outside of Sydney's house. Do you think that rumor is true? And do you think that could possibly be Stu?
it's possible. I just feel like Ethan Embry's character is there for a reason, and we already know he's going to be in a mental institution, so that could be him. Um, I mean, it's possible. I'll put it this way: they could elaborate that somebody else, broke out of a mental institution, and we could think it's him. I don't think they're going to give that away like right away. I just feel like, I'm being honest with you, Destin. Now that we got the announcement with Scream 8, I feel like they're going to draw this thing out with Stu until then. I don't think we're going to know if Stu's alive or not until that movie comes out.
Yeah, so you don't think we're going to find out that Stu's going to be alive until Scream 8? You don't think we're going to know for certain in this movie?
Yeah, because the timing of Scream 8 being announced, and when you add in the fact, and we talk about it all the time, Destin, Indiana's cool, Pine Grove is cool, but if Stu's coming back, what does that location hold any significance to his life? It holds none. And in my opinion, if you're going to bring Stu back alive, the proper way to do it is where it began. And I didn't think about this when we were on Steven's stream, and I'm going to say it here now. Because remember when he had asked, do we really think that they're going to go back to Woodsboro because they just did that in Scream 5? Or whatever. Well, think about this. By the time Scream 8 comes back out, that's going to be the fourth film in this new series. What happened after the first four films? Scream 4 went back to Woodsboro. So Scream 8 is basically going to be the new Scream 4.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. I know that and we got a super chat in the house, so we're about to get to that question because they do go to the front of the line, and greatly appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel. Just to piggyback off of what you said, Marcus, is the only thing that's kind of like hesitant for me, but which that could still be the thing. Hold on, we're over here. It's mirrored. is that Matthew Lillard has said that he's supposed to be revealed in the trailer that he's back. But it could be the AI approach, you know, it could be just kind of toying with this with that, but not really giving us any significance until Scream 8 to kind of blow our minds a little bit. I can see that.
That's what I think they're going to do. I mean, my thing is this. The majority of the fan base wants to do back.
Yeah.
And they knew that. This is why he is back in this movie. Mm-hmm. I just don't think they're going to make it that easy for us who think he's alive to just say, oh, yep, poof, here he is. He's alive. And before the movie comes out.
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Williamson knows what he's doing. He's going to make us work for this return, man. And
yeah.
I'm excited for it, man. I'm glad that they announced Scream 8 because I would love for Matthew to be back for 2 films. Why not?
Yeah. I think that they should let him breathe a little bit, not just bring him back for 20 minutes and then kill him off. I mean, this should be a huge moment.
Yep.
Okay, we do have a super chat in the house from DM Haynes with a $5 super chat. Good evening, guys. How would each of you like to see Scream 7 open? What would be your ideal way of kicking things off? Great question. Man, I think about this probably every single day because it's what puzzles me. How are they going to kick this one off? What's going to shift the tone and help us understand what the hell is going on between Scream 6 to Scream 7? What do you think, Marcus? I'm going to let you answer first. Because I need a moment because I got a couple of ways that I think, and I don't know what would be my favorite.
My dark horse. I'll start with my dark horse theory for that. And a lot of people might not like it. But my dark horse theory is that they are going to have new actors for a limited time, a couple minutes, however long the opening scene is, could be portraying the Carpenters, and they kill them.
What do you mean portraying them?
Right, they basically recasted the characters with new actors.
Ooh.
Whatever. Yeah. And
in real time, not in a stab movie.
No, not in a stab movie. No.
Okay.
No, in real time, because I mean, the rumor is that these new events are happening like 5 years after Scream 6. So maybe you do something in between that time, or something like real close to it, to where it's leading into what's going to happen in Scream 7. Mm-hmm. I just got a feeling they're going to do those characters dirty. Excuse me.
Kazoo time.
Thank you. Not really Kevin per se, or Guy, but I just got a feeling like maybe the studio will want something like that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's my dark horse theory, is that we could see the Carpenter system get killed off. Because a lot of people seem to think that Jimmy Tatro and that other girl who got signed on pretty late.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people think that those two characters are going to be the opening. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying they couldn't be, but let's go beyond. This is Scream 7. We're getting all the legacy characters basically back, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Kevin Williams is the director's team. And it's not that people don't know those actors. No, they do. But in my opinion, you have to have something big. Like, you have to have a big opening scene. It has to be someone that we know. even if actors are different playing the roles, we have to know that this is a certain character that we or
Okay.
have it be somebody who's like Case Beckett, like Drew Barrymore. You know, Ian Driver, like Greatest Secret, Omar X. You know, like this is supposed to be the one that really breaks the ground. All the hype surrounding the film and all that. So, I just don't feel like two actors. But I just feel like those two actors skill. It just wouldn't feel like it wouldn't feel like a big drama moment.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be somebody who's got a name. They have names, but I want like a Drew Barrymore. I want like a David or a Omar X. I want something like that. But remember, in Scream 4, they did that whole thing with all those celebrities, but let's really be honest. Was any of these celebrities the level of the ones I just met previously?
Yeah.
No. You know what I mean? And what happens? A lot of things don't like that open.
Yeah.
You know, so I just feel like it's open. It has to be something.
Yeah.
Whether it's this actor or a character that we see before getting killed off.
Yeah. 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 Great point, man. Okay, so I think the same thing. It has to be somebody like very significant. It's got to be somebody very significant, kind of like a Drew Barrymore or something like that. Somebody that's. I'm thinking that if we are going to be having Sidney Prescott and her daughter Tatum, which is Isabel May, I think it may have to affect somebody in Isabel May's friend group. Maybe McKenna Grace. McKenna Grace could actually, because a lot of people speculated like, oh, that's probably going to be the best friend. That's going to be maybe Ghostface. She's kind of known in the younger audience. She's got a little bit of a following. She's kind of coming up. She's kind of known, kind of like Samara Weaving was in Scream 7. I'm not saying she's on that standard for me per se, but I feel like that would be a shocking opening, seeing McKenna Grace get killed, and that would bring the whole friend group of Sydney's daughter and her friends to the forefront. That could bring it in it. But DM Haynes is saying, how would each of you like to see Scream 7 open? What would be your ideal way of kicking things off? So I'm going to veer away from that idea because I think that is a possibility. And I'm going to... Wow, I just thought of another way. But okay, I'm going to go with my original idea. And I've said this before on other streams, I think, and in other videos I've made. I think that I would like, my ideal way is that it opens up the ending of Scream 6, where Sam and Tara, and we get, like stock footage. It's the same footage that we see at the end of Scream 6. We got the music, we got everything. It's literally picking up exactly where we left off. And Sam's throwing the mask down. They're walking away. The camera's watching them walk away. And the next thing you know, the camera comes back, cut, and they're on actually a stab set. And Scream 5 and Scream 6 were actually stab movies within the movie. And next thing you know, you see Dewey walking out on set as a consultant on the movie. And, oh, he's alive. And they're like, oh, thank you, and they acknowledge all the shit. Like, they say, oh, thank you so much for having a part in these movies. Thank you for being a consultant on the movies, all that kind of stuff. We see Chad and Mindy. Like, all right, like they talk about their lines and stuff. Kind of have that Scream 3 moment with all the cast, And kind of like we're getting to know a lot of the characters, everybody that's on the set. and and then they, like maybe who's seen Sam or Tara, and they kind of play on that, which will be distasteful in a way, but they kind of play like, oh yeah, Sam says she's done with this movie, she's not coming back. She was never signed on for the next. Like they kind of like make a meta statement about what's going on in the real world with it. You know what I mean? And it'll be rude because I do like Melissa Barrera. I think she's gorgeous. I think she's awesome, and I respect what her views and everything. But I can't imagine that they won't do something like that to bring back Dewey, to bring back everybody, and kind of wrap it back up, and then being like, oh, we even had Sidney Prescott, like it's a movie within the movie thing. It kind of does the Get Shorty approach. I don't know if you ever seen that movie, but it kind of does something
Yeah.
like that. Um, I think that would be my ideal way of doing it. Could there be some plot holes? Maybe. Yeah. I mean, you could kind of pick it apart, and you could probably feel cheated for the last two entries, but it's for the sake of bringing certain beloved characters back and kind of getting stuff back on track and everything. Like, I mean, it's a give or take thing. It seems like it's already got some bad publicity around it already from the get go. That would be my ideal way of kicking things off. Um, but if we were going back, and we're talking probably about Scream 8 now because we're not going back to Woodsboro in this one. I think Martha Meeks needs to get killed. I think that connects the new legacy and the old legacy together. So yeah, one of those three ways. One of those three ways kind of orchestrate something to come together to bring all of our cast together.
Right. And for me, my ideal way, I would have to say, man, like I just hope it's somebody of note, the actor, but maybe maybe somebody like I mean, a lot of people want to see Sydney's, chemistry with her husband, but maybe we see Joe McKell's character get killed off in the opening scene. Something like
Ooh,
that. Something
interesting.
that hits something that hits home like right away. You know what I mean? Like something like that. So that's my ideal way. I just want it to be impactful. My ideal way is for this opening scene to be impactful. Like it has to feel like the original felt, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's a good way to kick it off. Like, or they could even, like, we've talked about it before in the past. Like, they could open it up with like a dream sequence, and have like an homage to Nightmare on Elm Street and what Sydney had in Scream 3 with her mom. And
Yep.
and then a lot of people want to see Maureen Prescott murdered. De-aging all the killers, Roman, Billy, Stu, kind of orchestrating the whole ordeal. Some people don't want to see it on screen. Some people do.
Man, I wonder if they really are going to go in that direction, man. I will say this. I mean, if they show it, it plays into the idea that Mason talked about in this interview a couple months ago.
Hmm.
That Stu in the original is more grounded, and that in this one, it's basically going to be like there's so many words Stu is not going to be grounded. This was all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
So I mean, by showing what they did to Marine, at least from a murdering standpoint, not the other stuff,
Yeah.
you know, that could definitely play into it. You know what I mean? Like just how brutal he is. And stuff like, oh, man, how would you feel if the movie did start off that way?
I wouldn't be surprised if it did do that. It's something that I want them to kind of like brush across. Not, I don't want to live in that moment for very long, but also if it's the opening scene, I don't want the opening scene to be rushed. So it's kind of like a
Right.
double-edged sword a little bit. So it's kind of like, is too much, like what's too much? I feel like I want to hear bits and pieces about it, maybe see some flashbacks of it, or maybe later on down the road, or even like a series about it that leads up to Maureen Prescott's murder and kind of kicks it off into Woodsboro or something. Having everybody de-aged, I just feel like it was already a little distracting with Billy Loomis being de-aged, Skeet Ulrich, and seeing them all de-aged. I just feel like it's going to be more distracting than it is going to be effective if they do that. But they might not even show them, you know? They might even show them up close, and they might just show a period, kind of like the Final Destination Bloodlines that just took place this weekend. It starts off in the past,
Right.
and it's like the opening scene is they're in the past and everything. It could be just something like that. Like it opens up like a traditional Scream movie, and someone gets killed, but it's Maureen Prescott, and it's all set back in the 90s.
Man,
And we do have another
it would
super
have
chat in the house, and I am going to get to you right after this. Super chats do go to the front line and are greatly appreciated and helps us keep all these streaming service afloat because they have been difficult tonight. Thank you.
Oh, I just hope we get a really good opening. That's
Yeah.
all I can hope for.
Yeah, me too. DM Haynes, I hope we answered your question. I would like to hear your thoughts as well. What do you think is the ideal way of kicking things off with Scream 7? What's your opening? And everybody else in the chat, like let's chime in here with DM Haynes' question. This is a great question. Great question for
Really?
Scream Talk. Thank you so much, DM Haynes. Really appreciate that. It really means the world. On this streaming service, I don't have any of my original clips, so I can't give that to you right now. But if you show up once I go over to the other platform, I will give it to you for free for sure, man. I promise. So yeah, thank you again, man. Great question, Marcus. Great question.
Oh, definitely.
Man, that was a really good question. Oh, look, Jen's got. What's up, Jen? Jen Werner gifted 5 Destination Station memberships. Thank you so much. Look at her coming in for the win. Hell yeah. Let's see who got the memberships. We got a troll. Congratulations. Welcome to the fam. Welcome to your official stationeer. I ain't said that in a long time. That's old school right there. Val,
I heard it.
good to see you. Thank you so much. Talking Star Wars. Thank you very much. DJ, go DJ. That's my DJ. Go DJ. Hell yeah. Thank you. Denisha D, what is up? Another hashtag digital bouncer, kicking trolls ashes one stream at a time. Oh yeah. Welcome to the fam. Thank you so much, Jen. You're the best. You are super awesome. Love you so much. Jen is the best. Jen's been there. OG triple G, OG triple OG. Triple. We got another super chat in the house from our very own DJ Favorites with the $5.32 super chat. His question, or he says, in the end of Scream 7, Stu's on trial and sentenced, and the camera pans on Stu's only family member takeover in Scream 8. Wow, so you think Stu's going to be on trial at the end of Scream 7? Pans over to Stu's only family member take over in Scream 8. So, okay, so the family member, who would that family member be? So Stu's on trial, like maybe he gets presented in this that he is the mastermind, he is one of the killers, but he doesn't die. He like he gets caught and he's on trial now. And then, like the judge is like, Mr. Mocker, you have done X, Y, and Z for so many years, and you have, all just talks about all the horrific things he's been doing, and then the camera just kind of like pans off of Stu Mocker, and it goes over to like one of Stu's family members to take over and Scream 8, and maybe that character of Stu, like we didn't know. I'm kind of like adding a little bit here, but maybe we didn't know that this person the entire movie was related to Stu Mocker, and it kind of shuts off. How do you feel about that, Marcus?
Well, that wouldn't be too bad of a cliffhanger. I will say I just feel like Stu being revealed in Scream 7, I just don't think it's gonna happen. I just don't. But in terms of the theory, it's not a bad theory. My thing is I think they're gonna reveal that he has a family member already working for him in this movie. So whether that's Leslie, whether that's Vince's brother, if Vince was ever really his nephew, somebody who's close to Stu in terms of a relative will be revealed as a killer in this movie, in my opinion. Um, man, my thing is this. All right, do you really think even if Stu was on trial, like that's something they would show? You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
just I feel I'll put it this way, Destin, because I know you have a theory that Stu wants to get caught. My thing right there is that that's all we would see. You would see if Stu's alive, and if he's alive at the end of Scene 7, and if the cliffhanger is that he wants to get caught and he surrenders to police, that's the only thing we will see in regards to Stu gets arrested, and then maybe in Scream 8 he's in the asylum, or they send him to an asylum or in prison, and from there he's running the cult from there.
yeah,
So like, I just don't think we would see something like a trial for Steve in Scream 7 or anything like that. Again, I just feel like a family member is to be revealed. My way too early theory is obviously innocent hospital.
say that one more time. I didn't hear that.
My way too early. I hear something in the background.
On
My
my
way
end.
too early. Yeah, it's coming through my headphones. I don't know on my Bluetooth. I don't know what the issue is. It's like a whistle. But all right, I'll try to get this out. But my theory on who's going to be his family members in the camp and at the time.
Okay, okay, yeah, um, yeah, great. I kind of agree with you a little bit. Yeah, at the end of Scream 7, Stu's on trial and sentenced, and the camera pans on Stu's only family member taking over in Scream 8. It's interesting. It is very, very interesting, and it kind of always reminds me of like the Freddy's Nightmares thing of like Freddy Krueger being on trial and all that kind of stuff, kind of like given that. Um, we don't. Scream's never been a trial movie. It's never been. It's never done anything like that. I could see Stu being incarcerated in like the jail cell or him being locked up, behind the gates, behind the cell or something like that, and it end like that. Like my idea is for me to like have Stu, I don't know, like be orchestrating behind the cell, like I'm okay with that. to an extent. I don't want them to go as far into it as like the following, because I'm like, all right, we're just copying, and this was the original idea. I want it to be a little bit different, you know. I think the idea of having like a family member there, like maybe I would much rather see somebody, a family member of Stu Mocker, like say Stu. Okay, my idea. I'm all over the place. I'm thinking. This is what happens. I think I got ADHD. I don't fucking know. Never been diagnosed. But um, uh, so Stu, you know, like my idea is like Stu and Sydney or whoever or Isabel May is going at it, and the police show up. There's the police lights, and you know, like Sydney's like, "Give it up, Stu. It's over. You know, it's done. You're never gonna get away with this." And he's just like looking, and he's just like opens the front door, and he's like, "No, it just begun." And he throws down the knife, and all the guns are drawn. You got the cameras out there, the new Gail Weathers out there in his face. Stu Mocker's been alive all this time, like, you know, and he just kind of goes to get apprehended purposefully, peacefully, because now his name's out there. Now everyone knows he's alive, and he never got the recognition. Now this is his legacy, and he started this entire Ghostface cult. And like they could say something, you know, like like how do you feel? And he could just be like, it was fun, and like the camera's just like shut off. Then later, like a mid credit scene or something like that, like I could see him like, Mocker, you got a visitor. And then Mocker sits down, and then we realize it's Leslie Mocker sitting there, somebody that we watched the entire time, or in a past movie or something, and it's just like, hey sis, boom, movie's over.
How, yeah, bro. I don't know why this idea just came in my head, but I think it's because you talked about, Stu going to jail and stuff like that. What if they do all this? Like your theory comes to fruition, Stu gets caught willingly, whatever. But what if in jail, right? Let's say he doesn't even get to like the big jail yet. He's in central booking.
Mm-hmm.
What if they put a free TV series, turn move on him and kill him there? And a new Ghostface shows up and just kills them all.
Kind of like in Scream TV series with
Yeah.
Kieran. Yeah, dude, I think about that all the time. I'm kind of like, man, was he supposed to? Is that like a play on what Stu should have been?
It's possible, bro. Like, I don't know. I just think that would be such an unexpected. I'm not saying I'd be happy with that type of ending for Stu because I wouldn't. But it would be a nice callback to that, and it would be interesting in terms of a cliffhanger because we got Stu back. He was the mastermind of this, Ghostface cult, whatever. He actually turns himself in because he thinks that he's going to still be running this shit from jail. But what if somebody from the cult that either we've seen that wasn't revealed, or there's somebody completely different just rolls up on Stu in the jail cell and just takes him out, kills him.
In the jail, so like who would it be? So maybe it could have been a correction officer or something.
You would never think that's how they would end Scream 7 on a cliffhanger. You would never think that.
You know what would be crazy? And this is
Man,
this is
our brains are so radicalized.
think about this. What if the opening is Stu Macher getting killed? Think about him like coming home. Like he's been in jail this entire time. Like the movie opens up him getting released, and his parents are there, and like, welcome home, son. And they go back home, and then Ghostface comes and kills his parents and him.
Bro, If I'm being just honest with you, if they did that shit, I'm throwing my popcorn at the fucking big screen. I'm saying, go fuck yourself. I'm not having it. I would be sick. I will say this. I will
Hey
say
man, nobody would
that
have
would
expected it.
nobody would not only not expect that, but it is a big name, Matthew Willard, and it would be somebody character that we've seen before in the opening scene, and it would be kind of retribution per se for Casey Becker because that was his ex girlfriend. But I
Oh
just
yeah, what if
wailed
his
off.
parents were still alive, but he gets hung from the tree and his mom comes outside and is like, ah!
Bro, yo, can you imagine the theater that most of them came to probably see Matthew Willard return and see how this is going to play out with Sydney and stuff, and that happens, bro? I'm telling you, I can almost guarantee the entire theater is walking out. It's,
I don't know
it's,
about walking out.
it,
They might stand up. They might stand up and they gonna sit back down.
no, no, I don't know, man. I don't know. I will say this: if even if they do stay, every single one of them are going on social media and they're leaking that.
Oh yeah, yeah, dude. You'd have to stay off TikTok, man, because I already got spoiled on a couple of deaths from Final Destination, dude. Which I will plan it right here. We are going to be doing a stream over at Marcus's channel right after this one. Final Destination Bloodlines talk. We will be
Yes,
discussing that. We've both seen the movie.
yes.
So come over there and hang out with us over at and go subscribe to Marcus over at I Shot Him Six Times. Really great
And
content. My brother from another mother. He's the best.
if you don't mind me chiming in real quick and
Go ahead.
DM Haynes, if you're still here, DM, I want to say thank you, man, because I just checked my notifications and DM dropped a $9.99, basically a $10 super thank on my Randy Theory video, saying no
Nice.
collabs lately, up the good work. Thank you, DM. If you're still here, man, I greatly appreciate it. I'm actually writing you back now, but I wanted to show you some love right here, right now, because that was unexpected. And, we appreciate it, man. Like all the
Yeah.
support, coming around, dropping like, hanging out, having conversation with us and stuff. So we appreciate it, man. And trust me, I'm gonna do my best to keep up the good work, bro, because we got a lot of horror movie stuff to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to get to.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Yeah. Yeah. We really appreciate it. But yeah, man, DJ, this is a great idea. The Stu Mocker thing, I mean, I can't say it couldn't happen because yeah, I mean, I could definitely see it playing out, and then like the camera panning over. I'm more like the whole like Stu getting caught and bypass the whole trial thing and just being like, we just hear a guard go, Mocker, you got a visitor. And then Mocker sits down for the visitor call, and on the other side of that glass, it's like Leslie Mocker, maybe Anna Camp's character or something, or maybe Gail Weathers, like or Sidney Prescott. Can you imagine it? Oh man, if Sidney came to like at the end of it, Sidney comes and visits, like finds out Stu is alive, and Sidney comes and like to talk to Stu, and the movie ends like that. It's been a long time. Thank you, DJ, for that. It's a great idea. Thank you so much for the super chat. Super chats go to the front line. It's greatly appreciated. Um, yeah, awesome. Remind me. I will try to remember, but when we're on my other streaming platform, I will definitely give you a free of choice video. I do got some funny videos over there, buddy. Go DJ. That's my DJ. I always think of that, man. All right, going back to the top of the chat because I try to give everybody their shine. I think we were on Dom. We got Patricia Taylor. Hi everybody, how you doing today? I'm feeling. Oh, I hope you get to feeling better, Patricia. Yeah, the flu is no joke. Tell Scott I said hey, thank you again. Val, thank you. Yes, please smash that like button. Hit that stab that like button. Appreciate it. A troll, welcome to the party. Good to see you. Good to see you. Patricia says, I love the Conjuring films. I love the Scream movies. When Scott and I went to see the Conjuring 2, there was a big jump scare and he jumped 2 seats behind me. Yeah, Conjuring's a lot of fun. We'll definitely be doing some Conjuring talk in the future. They got the new one coming out. Definitely love that franchise. A troll says, glad we talking Scream tonight. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great to have you, man. Patricia says, remember how I told you the last time that we are returning to Woodsboro in Scream 7? We are at Stu's house and it's going to be abandoned and boarded up. How do you feel about that? Scream 7, we're not going to be returned to Woodsboro, but in Scream 8, it's a big possibility, and I kind of hope it does happen. Like, building up, going, like, the return to Woodsboro. And honestly, at this point, I would like to see how the Stu Macher looks all boarded up. Kind of like those later sequels of those Nightmare on Elm Street movies of Freddy's house being boarded up. I like that.
It would add a nice walk to it.
Yeah, it would. It would kind of like give it a little eerie feel, like it's the ghost house of the town. Talking Star Wars, I saw Bloodlines online, loved it, absolutely, hell yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts about it. I'm pretty sure Marcus does too. We haven't even discussed it amongst ourselves of how we really feel about the movie. I got the review up on my channel and over on my TikTok, but we're gonna go in depth over on Marcus's channel. So hang out with us over there very shortly after this. I want to hear your thoughts. Now, I don't want to hear anything until we're on live, Marcus, because I want to hear what you think, man.
I know. I can't wait to talk about it.
Dom says he just came back from Bloodlines. Talking
That's
Star
what's up.
Wars. Yep.
I wonder what he feels.
Hell yeah. Dom said, wait, you're not using StreamYard? Nope, not tonight, man. We're using something else, man. That was the hiccup for tonight while we were kind of late getting going. Val says she can hear Marcus fine. Okay. So maybe it's just something, maybe there's like maybe they just need to work out some kinks over here at this streaming platform. I don't know, because I can hear myself echo. Let me know in the comments if anybody else can hear me echo. Can you hear me echo, Marcus?
I must say it's like really light, but I do hear a little bit of an echo.
Okay. Jim Warren says, hello everyone, I just got home, so I decided to pop in. Good to see you. Good to see you. Man, it's good to see Jen. I haven't seen her in a memento. Patricia says, Marcus, it sounds like you're on a police radio. Breaker 19, Breaker Rusty Nail.
I'm Breaker 19. This is Black Sheep.
And his name was Duke. Or whatever, Dukes of Hazzard. And his name was, there's not many people in this town except for a guy named with the last name of Duke. Or whatever the hell. I don't know. I've never seen the shows. I've seen the movie, but I ain't seen the shows. Jen, yes, being busy being an actor. Awesome. Hell yeah. Gonna need you in some future projects. Talking Star Wars says mental hospital would be my guess. I heard potential rumors there may be a mental patient. Yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier, and I just don't know how that plays in. Like, wouldn't it be? Oh, dude. Let's just like say it's not Stu Macher in the mental hospital. What if it's fucking Jill and she escapes and she's just charging for Sydney's residence? She finds out where she lives. Gail gets the idea that Jill has escaped, and maybe Sydney doesn't even know that Jill is alive. Maybe she always thought that she was dead. You know, like. But Gail knows. So she's rushing there, and Gail gets there and sees Jill and just runs her over, dude. Like, nope. Like Gail's like Sydney's protector now.
I don't think it's going to be Jill or anybody. I think it's just going to be Ethan Embry because that's basically what even Steve confirmed. Because I'm assuming I want to say it was Eric maybe because Eric was on location, and stuff. Gail is supposed to go meet Ethan Embry's character in the mental asylum.
Okay.
So it's supposed to be him. Now, whether Jill's in that same asylum or Sue or wherever he came from, I don't know. But I have a couple interesting theories for that. I think it's could it be Gail's brother? Maybe we didn't know Gail had a brother. Going to see him. He talked vaguely about family in the last movie, Or could it be this Ghostface that is supposedly supposed to be revealed early on in the movie?
Okay.
Instead of killing him, he gets caught, he gets arrested, and he gets sent to the fucking movie bin. And then Gail goes to see him to ask questions. So it's possible, man. Like I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with that character. Because you brought it up the other night. Ethan Embry was the brother in Disturbing Behavior.
And he did play. Yeah, he played a little bit loony. Yeah.
So for all the talk of Stu Macher's sister, what if Stu had a fucking brother, bro? That was also loose.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. He could have. Yeah. And maybe he gets killed, and they realize like, oh, what's his name? And it's like Jesse Mocker or whatever, like Mocker, Jesse Mocker, and Gail's like anybody, like you could just kind of like start up a conversation, like it brings Mocker back into play.
Right, absolutely. I think it's possible, man. Like he has to have some significance if Gail's going to see him.
That's true.
What significance that is, I don't know. But
I could see. Okay, so if they go this route with Gail Weathers, and she's got this podcast, and she's like maybe interviewing people, and maybe she's doing the Ghostface cult thing, like she's interviewing people that have interest in the Ghostface stuff, and maybe she goes there to interview him, and maybe he gives a little insight of like, you don't know who it is. Like this is bigger than you ever imagined. You understand that, right, Miss Weathers? Like taunts her and kind of like gets her a little scared. Like there's a whole cult out there. Like maybe he's the one that presents all that to her. This will never stop. This is bigger than you could ever imagine. And then he escapes. And then maybe she hears, like from her connections, like inmate escape, blah 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 blah, and and like maybe he even makes maybe he even like touches base on Sydney. She's the key to everything. She started this. She will end this. I will find her. And Gail is just like already on alert.
That'd be interesting. I mean,
yeah.
If you're not going to reveal Stu alive, it kind of presents a character who's just basically obsessed with finding Sydney and killing her or whatever his bone to pick with Sydney is.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that might not even be working with Stu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't know what's going to happen until we get there. For all we know, even though I believe they're going to stretch this Stu story out to Stream 8, For all we know, this really is just a flashback. This really is just AI form.
Yeah.
That's it's very possible. Whoever this killer is could be bringing back all these past killers in this type of way in terms of AI because they are obsessed with the Stab franchise. They are obsessed with Sidney Prescott, and they basically want to do this for the legacy of Ghostface, basically.
Yeah. Uh,
So,
yeah.
see,
Yeah. Patricia says we see Stu in a prison, but somebody is dressed up as a ghost face, killing the prison officers. And killing the prison governor, and the alarms go off, and the ghost face escapes out the door, and it's Stu. I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna be right back. I know I shouldn't say that. I'll see you in the kitchen with a knife, but I'm gonna let you
right?
answer. I'll be right back. I'll be real quick.
Uh, so let me reread this because you guys know I got to get up close. I got to get glasses. I always say this. We see Stu in a prison, but somebody is dressed up as Ghostface, killing the prison officers, and killing the prison governor. And the alarms go off, and that Ghostface escapes out of the door, and it's Stu. Okay, so hold on. So we see Stu in a prison. So my thing is this Ghostface helping Stu escape? Basically, that's what I'm taking from this. It's possible. Um, I feel like though they wouldn't give that away so soon. I really just don't like because then we would know that Stu is not only alive, but then we would know way too early that he's responsible for these new murders. Like that's the first thought that's going to come to our mind seeing something like that happen. The only question that would be remaining is who is the one who'd help break him out, and stuff like that. And then at that point, I just think a lot of people who want to see Stu alive, I just don't think they want to see him alive, like done in that way, to where we already know that he's alive, like early in the movie. We still want, a lot of us who want to see Stu return, we want to see them basically build a story around this. We don't just want this to basically feel shoehorned in and okay, yeah, we know it's Stu. No, we still want to hold on to that mystery. Is he alive? Is he not alive? Even the people who don't want to see Stu Macher alive and they know he's going to be in this movie, deep down inside, they know they want to hold on to that mystery. Even if they don't agree that he is alive, they want to watch this movie holding on to that mystery. Is Stu Macher alive or is he dead? So I just think doing it in this way, with somebody breaking him out of jail and we see him alive and it's early in the movie, even if it's just a cliffhanger, I still think that wouldn't be the way to go for the end of the movie either, because then we know for a fact that Stu Macher is not only alive, but we know who's going to be the killer in Scream 8. And Destin and me talk about it all the time. It's supposed to be a whodunit. We're supposed to guess who the killer is.
Right.
Even if we strongly feel that Stu is alive, we want to be able to still have that, okay, is he alive or is he not? Is he committing the murders? Is he not? So, me personally, I don't think we see something like this happen, and I personally, not like trying to clap on the idea, I'm just, just being as honest as I can be. I personally don't want to see something like this because it'd be giving the surprise away way too soon.
Mm-hmm.
It still is a surprise. Just because Matthew's going to be in this movie, we really don't know what the hell they're doing with him.
Yeah.
We can have an idea. We can have an idea what that looks like, but we really don't know until we watch the movie what they're going to be doing with Schumacher's character. And that's the beauty of all this. Was I surprised that he was announced as early as he was? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But still is a mystery factor into it. And the mystery is, well, are they going to reveal that Stu is alive, or are they going to basically admit that he is dead, but they're bringing him back in this type of way? So, a lot to look forward to for Scream 7 and Scream 8.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's a great idea because I mean, we kind of talk about it already, but I was thinking, I'm just going to kind of like play a little bit in this atmosphere for a minute with what Patricia's
Right.
saying. Um, I think it would be kind of cool. I don't know if I would want it at the beginning, in the middle, or maybe at the very end or something like that. But I think it would be a cool scene if like they've toyed that Mocker is alive or not alive, but then like at the very end we do that same thing, like Mocker, you got a phone call, and like he goes to like one of the pay phones or whatever that's in that's in the prison or in the sane asylum, and
Right.
it's like, hello, Stu, you know, and and he's like, who the fuck is this, you know, and next thing you know, he's like, don't worry, we got you. Next thing you know, he looks over, somebody's got their throat cut, one of the prison guards, then somebody else gets killed, and you see a couple of Ghostface like killing the prison guards, and then they're all standing there in front of Stu, and they're just and then they just kind of like point toward look towards the exit, and they let Stu go. Like they broke Stu out of prison or out of the.
So basically, so basically, it'd just be like a bunch of random, like basically Schumacher heads.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
go
it's part
dress.
of the cult. It's part of the cult that's like they prison broke Stu Macher out of the damn insane asylum or prison.
Okay, but basically, my thing is, I mean, I like the idea. What I'm saying is this a cult that he already knows, or is this a cult that he's just meeting?
Well, I would say that he does have a hand in the cult, but it's so big now. There's people that he doesn't even
Right,
know that's part of it because he's been incarcerated.
right. I like that idea. I like that idea of okay, let's say he does bring the cult in Stream Seven. He gets caught. He gets put in jail. Whatever. And then the cliffhanger is somebody does break him out of jail, and it's cult members that he doesn't even know about.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, I
It's
still
like the
personally
Manson.
would.
It's like the Manson crew. Like they're there to like take care of business.
Right.
I don't know,
And I
man. I
still
think it's
just,
pretty interesting.
I just feel like they're going to go back to Woodsboro with Team 8, and that's when they're going to do it. You know, I think we're going to get enough clues. I think we're definitely going to get enough clues that Stu is alive in Scream 7, but I just feel like they're going to save the actual reveal where it belongs. And I'm gonna end up having to do a video about that because that's important, man. Like because a lot of people don't think that Scream will go back to Woodsboro anytime soon. But if you add up the timeline in regards to the movies and how the movies played out, the first four movies, the, after the first one, they went to three different locations.
Yeah.
Now think about Scream 5. Scream 6 went to New York. Pine Grove. Scream 4, in my opinion, because that's going to be Scream 9 or 8, because that's going to be the fourth movie in this
Mhm.
new series. That's going to be the Scream 4, and that's going to go back to Woodsboro.
Yeah. I feel like whatever wherever they end the story or end Sydney's story needs to be in Woodsboro, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's a thing of Destin because you know you're a Marvel fan and stuff like that. Nev just got signed on for some big roles, you know, in the
Yeah.
MCU universe. And I mean, I personally now think that Scream 8 was announced because Scream 7 and Scream 8 is going to be Sydney focused movies, but then Scream 9 is going to basically, it's not to say she's not going to be in it, but she's not going to be the main part. She's not going to be the main character again.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm okay with her taking a little bit of a back seat and her daughter kind of taking the reins a little bit. Like I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I do like what Val says too. Like mental hospital would be the easiest way to do it. Patient records protected even from Gail and Dewey. Yeah, yeah. I like that too. Talking Star Wars says someone on X, I believe, pointed out that Ethan looks like Dewdrop. Do we know exactly if it's only Dewey and Tatum? Her siblings. I mean, a lot of people thought that. Yeah, I don't really want to mess up that whole little family dynamic and brother and sister thing. I feel like that's a little sacred to Legacy fans. Because a lot of people, what was his name? In, in Scream 5, a lot of people were like, "Oh, he gives Billy Loomis vibes," but he was actually Stu Macher's nephew.
Right. Oh, I think. Hold on. I think Star Wars. Are you talking about Ethan Landry or Ethan Embry?
Oh, oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Because I don't know. I think she's talk. I think they're talking about Ethan Embry. That's who I think because Ethan Landry looks. You know, Jack Campion looks nothing like the dude drop.
Yeah, no, he
He
doesn't. No, no.
looks nothing like this. So I think she's
Someone,
talking about.
someone on X is full of shit.
Yeah, I think Star Wars is talking about Ethan Embry. I mean, there was always that question: why did Tatum have another bed in her room? You know, could they have had another sibling? Possibly. I just don't think if that is the case, it would be a brother, unless they had to share a room, which I couldn't see that happening. You know what I mean and stuff.
Can you imagine if we have someone walking up to Sydney and it looks just like Tatum, and it's like I was Tatum's twin sister,
That'd be nuts.
and have
Excuse
Rose
me.
McGowan back.
That'd be nuts. But then I ain't gonna lie. I mean, then that adds an interesting aspect because who's to say, their sibling doesn't want to kill Sydney because Dewey and her twin got killed.
It could be. Is this a friend or a foe? You don't know.
Yeah. Like, hey, that'd be cool. It'd be a nice little twist. Get Rose McGowan back in it. I mean, Rose McGowan plays a great psycho, so.
Yeah, and then like also with if she's naming her daughter Tatum, it could be like, what the hell? What the hell's going on here?
Yeah, that would basically rub the twin the wrong way. Like, how dare you? You
Yeah.
got my sister killed. You dare to call your daughter that name, and then my
If
brother was killed because in Dewey.
if Sydney has a son, do you think she should name him Dewey?
I think she's done having kids. I just think she's done having kids, bro. I mean, depends on. We don't even know what the other two kids. I mean, we are assumed that it's supposed to be all girls, but they could change it. I mean, for crying out loud, they changed Mark Kincaid.
Yeah, for sure.
So they could change whatever they want. For all we know, she could have been talking. But see, I would assume that because Tatum at that time, if Tatum was, she would have been too old to be in that stroller in Scream 5. So I'm gonna say Sid does have all girls.
Yeah.
Stuff. So I mean, unless unless she pulled a Marine and had a kid in between, like before having those kids.
I mean, yeah. No, I don't know, man. I don't want my image of Sydney being messed up. I think she's more morally correct than her mother.
Yeah, I can see that. But I can also see her actually caving into her biggest fear, which is becoming like her mother. That was always her biggest fear. Ghostface was her biggest fear, but so was becoming her mother. Which was happening. And I'll say this. I'll say this. They might portray Sydney as basically, because she always wondered why her mother did the things she did.
Yeah.
maybe Sydney now being married and being in a marriage and having kids and stuff, maybe they might try to play off of it like now she knows why, like she knows what her mother felt in that situation. But it was different though because Maureen, unfortunately had things happen to her that she could never think, outside of that.
Hmm.
So I personally don't think they're going to do anything crazy like that with Sydney. You know, I mean, me personally, I would like to see a little bit more edge from the character. I don't want to see the same old Sydney Prescott. I do think we need to do something a little bit different for the character, just to
Hmm.
freshen her up,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Maybe, and I'd be on board for this. You
Hmm.
kind of have her be like Laurie Strode in Halloween H2O, how she was with John, overprotective, very overbearing, stuff like that. Maybe we even see Sydney like to tip the bottle every once in a while.
Like me.
Something like that. I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
I'd be cool. And it's possible to think that could happen because Kevin Williamson wrote Halloween H2O.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, just like her, like, just kind of having like her dealing with her anxiety and stress and demons and everything. Like, yeah,
Tatum could be the new John, but she also has other kids on the side, and stuff like that, the younger ones.
yeah, yeah. I like that. We are going to go about 15 more minutes because I know that we are after midnight and we do need to go over and do our final destination stream. We will extend this if we do like possibly get a super chat. We might be able to extend it for like 15, 30. I mean, I had a late nap after work, so I'm full game all night long as y'all
Yeah,
can
that's
go.
how I look at it, bro.
As long as you can go, like that's. I think that's the thing. I think I'm officially old because I need that old man nap, and it's like I'm recharging my batteries, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I could do a whole nother damn day, like, and that's how I feel right now. I feel like this could be morning right now because took such a long nap. But we do have to call it a quit somewhere, but we will extend for a super chat. It's not necessary. If you want to come over on Marcus's channel and we discuss Final Destination Bloodlines, I have a lot of thoughts about it. Really enjoyed the film, but I'm not going to go too much here because we will talk about it there. And I know Marcus just saw it, so yeah, we're definitely looking forward to talking about that. There's a lot to be said. Val says, I still like the theory of Neil hiding him out. Now, this is something that we brought up recently, the last couple weeks, of possibly Neil, couple of things. Working with Stu, or maybe he was still a part of the killing of the original. Like maybe he found out that Maureen was cheating, and maybe he was working with Billy and Stu, and that whole theatric in that kitchen in the first movie was just for show. I think it takes away from that movie if we do go that route, unless Neil was working with Roman and not Billy and Stu.
I just feel like if they're gonna do that, then Sydney has to do something like Marine did for Neil to feel the need to unleash Stu back in the world on her, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be crazy to see Neil be revealed as a killer and was a part of it from the beginning. I could easily see, the whole thing of him seeing Stu and Billy and stuff because he found out of Marine's indiscretions, stuff like that. But if we're talking about like now, what would be the motive for him wanting Stu to kill Sydney?
Mm-hmm.
There would have to be something there. And to me, that something there would be Sydney had an affair on her husband or was going to, like you mentioned, like she was in the middle of, possibly, going through something like that. And that's what broke Neil because Neil tried so hard to basically shield Sydney from that and protect her from
Yeah.
that and avoid her from being like her mother.
Yeah.
And because he did something that her mother did to him, that's what makes him break and say, okay, Sue, we're back in business. Here goes a few more grand. She's dead to me now. So,
Yeah.
I mean, but I do like I do like this idea that we've been flirting with Neil being a secret killer and accomplice of Stu Mocker.
Didn't see it coming, did you? That's all I keep thinking.
Can you imagine, especially the Scream diehards, like how mind fucked they would be? Like that would be crazy. Like, wait, what? Pop?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That would be crazy.
But I don't
That
think
would
they
be
should
nuts.
like have like a big old blowout. I think it should be like they did go out with that way. It would have to be like an aftermath thing, like Sydney realizing, like two killers were revealed, but then she discovers like, oh wait, she goes to see her dad one night and she's sitting there and they're just having like a calm conversation across like the dinner table or in the kitchen, and there's a moment of realization that she comes across her face that, oh my god, kind of like that look that she gave Billy Loomis in the first movie, and then she just realizes it. And then he goes on his whole spiel like, look, I did it to protect you. I did this. I did that. I was trying to, I love you and all that kind of stuff. And it's like a sentimental moment. There's no struggle, but Sydney finally, at the end of the entire conversation, pulls out a gun and shoots him in the head and walks out. Like, ends it. Just ends it all.
If you're gonna especially reveal that just Neil doesn't have to be Ghostface. If you're just gonna reveal that Neil basically helped Roman, Billy, and Stu put this together for the Marines,
Like he knew from
I
the get
can
go.
yeah, I can get down with that. Would you put that as the cliffhanger? Like,
I would put that like an after, not a cliffhanger, but like an aftermath thing. Like everything's all said and done. I'm gonna go move back in with my dad. Everything seems hunky dory, whatever. And then through conversation, Sydney, just like starts questioning about things. I was thinking this, and this. Where were you that night? And you never seem bothered that mom did this or did that. And like through conversations of questioning, it was revealed, and that was the moment of, did you know
he
about
could have.
Roman? Did you know about Roman? And he's just like, yeah, he did come to me. I answered the door one time, and that's when he showed me what was going on between Billy's dad and my wife. But I never did anything, Sydney. I never I never acted. But he put things in motion and he let it happen.
Right. It is interesting, that you bring this up because when in Scream 3, when Sydney basically like point blank asks him, why did mom have so many secrets? He dodged the question. He would not answer the question.
Yeah,
Which kind of lets you know he did know more than probably what he was letting on. He just tried to hide,
right.
you know, and stuff like that. Now you can play off of that idea then. Okay, well he knew his wife was cheating, so you mean to tell me he knew his wife was cheating and didn't try to do something about it?
Hmm.
Then you can play with that idea a little bit and stuff. Like, I mean, this is another thing too, man. I mean, we don't know if they ended up moving his body multiple to different rooms throughout the night at the party whenever they could. But from what we've seen on screen, Neil's body was, basically placed in like what like a side door or whatever it was in the kitchen. in the side room, like
Yeah.
a closet.
Yeah, it was like it was like a almost kind of like a pantry, it seemed like, but it was like, yeah, a side closet.
So, like, I get it. His mouth was like taped and stuff like that, but he is like he's a pretty sturdy guy. You know what I mean? He's a pretty big guy.
Yeah.
You mean? I mean, just you can even bang your head on the wall. You know, like to create a noise. Like he created no noise to like try to draw attention to himself.
I mean, I know, but it's a movie also. Like it was supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, if we're going down this route of possibly thinking Neil was involved, you can put that in there. Like, that's why he never tried to draw attention to himself, because basically just kind of was a part of the plan. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Unless, of course, he didn't think Billy and Stu were going to turn on him, whatever. But, I mean, if we're going to go down that route of Neil, you know what I mean, like being a killer, like, you know, in regards to setting up Marine's death and stuff like that, you would think that especially if Billy and Stu basically turned on him or whatever, that you would try to draw some type of attention to yourself. But then again, maybe he was afraid too that they were going to, you know, out him out. See, that's another thing too, though. It's like, I feel like Sydney is just going to have to do something for that to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying Neil couldn't have, you know, put the plan in motion for that to happen, but I just feel like that would have been revealed by now, man. Like,
Yeah.
Scream 3 would have been the perfect time to reveal that. With Roman, would have been the perfect time to reveal that because we've seen Neil in the movie. That was the last time we've seen Neil. You know, and he was trying to get Sydney to stop living this secluded life.
Yeah.
So, oh man, see, I really, now that we're like on this little theory, I really wish they would have just did that for Scream 3.
Yeah.
They should have did that.
It would have been yeah. It would have been great to plug it in there for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, great ideas.
Easy.
Yeah, and we definitely want an opening to the flashback Marine Prescott. Thank you, Jen. We do have a super chat in the house. Super chats do go to the front line, so you just added 15 minutes to this stream. It's our very good buddy DM Haynes with a $5 super chat. Says, which Scream movie displays your favorite portrayal of or version of Sydney and why? That's a great question because she is my final girl. Do you need a moment to think about it, or you want to go first?
No, it's easy for me. It's the first one.
Mm.
The first one. Because you saw multiple times, you know, when you saw her punch Gail in the face, that set the tone. That lets you know what type of final girl she was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fighter. She was an ass kicker.
Yeah.
You know, for me, we got so much out of Sydney in that first one. We got the fighter. Not only that, that was the only time we've seen Sydney rock the Ghostface costume.
Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah.
So for me, I think the original one, because it let us know front and center who our final girl is, what she is about. And to me, I mean, I love me some Jamie Lee Curtis. Don't get me wrong. But I like Sidney Prescott more than her. Why? Because I feel like Sidney Prescott, when it comes to actually fighting these killers, she always had an edge. She always had that extra little pizzazz to her. Like, she was actually a fighter. Like, you know what I mean? Harry, especially in the original Halloween, she did what she had to do to stay alive, but she was like, she just wasn't that type of girl. Like, you could tell that. You know what I mean? Like, she wasn't really a fighter.
Yeah.
From the first one, you could tell what type of character she was going to be. Yeah. She was a fighter. She had savvy. She had wit. She wasn't stupid. you know what I mean, and stuff like that. So I'd have to say the first one for me is the best portrayal of Sidney Prescott, because when you think about it, after the first one, what really new did we get out of her, really?
Okay. Hot take.
Okay.
My favorite portrayal, a version of Sydney, is Scream 2. I love her in Scream 2, man. I think that, one, she's great. She's great in all of them. Except for 4. I'm kidding. Sorry. She would have kicked Charlie's ass. Okay, so Scream 2. I was really digging the hair. I thought she looked. I thought she was more confident. She grew a little bit from the first movie. I thought that I love the way that she just did not. She wasn't as scared. She was ready to kind of take things on in a way instead of just running away. There was that moment where she's like, I want to see who it is. Let's go back right now. Like, I don't want to make the same mistakes that I did before. I want to know who it is. And Haley was like, no, let's go. We got to get the fuck out of here, you know? And so, and then the end, you know, like Mickey going like, you know, taunting her. And she goes, yeah, but there's one thing you forgot about Billy Loomis. And she's like, and he goes, yeah, what's that? She goes, I fucking killed him. You know? And fucking hit him with the necklace. And just, man, like, there was something about Sydney, and I was just like, I remember being in the theater watching it and going, that's my future wife. That's, I will pay for her to kick my ass. Like, she was so awesome in Scream 2, and I think that really sold it for me on Scream 2, because Scream 2 is, I do love it. I love it, you know. There's some highs and lows, but I feel like her character really elevates it, just showing how badass she is at the end, even with Mrs. Loomis. You know, like, Scream 2, she just ain't taking no shit. She's just like, the hell with this, I'm about to beat your ass. Even with that axe, remember with her behind the scenes? And she was just like, she even grinned. She was just like, ha, you fucking with me? I got you. Boom! It hits, you know. And I just love her in Scream 2. And I really think that's what I love the most about Scream 2 is Sydney's character. I think Sydney's the best in Scream 2, in my opinion. She's great in all of them. She's absolutely great in all of them. And I hope 7, she fucking knocks it out the park. And I have no doubt that she won't. But from what we've seen so far, I think her portrayal and best version of Sydney is Scream 2, in my opinion. Great question, DM Haynes. Really great question. Because she was great in 1, because you did make a great point. She did don the Ghostface costume in Scream 1. She hasn't done that before, you know, anymore. Would she do it in 7 or 8?
I think another thing is too is why I gravitate to her performance in Scream 1996 more than 2 or any other one, is because you got to see, like, literally, like, in that whole conversation with Billy, she was literally like coming to the realization that I have to realize, like, what my mom was. I can't keep hiding from this fact. And it's funny that you brought up, you know, how in Scream 2 she's like kind of had that stop running mechanism. She had that in Scream 1. It was just with her mother and the facts about her mother.
Yeah.
In Scream 2, that's when we see her elevate that to Ghostface. First, I was running from the fact that my mother was who she was. Now in Scream 2, I'm done running from the fact of there's this killer who is after me. I want to know who it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like that choice, though, man, because she was awesome in Scream 2. I'll put it this way, to me, if we're going to do a ranking, that's the top 2 best performances.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. 2, bro, like you said, like she had that moment of self doubt. Remember when she was talking to her her theater teacher, whatever the professor, is
Yeah,
he was like, and she was
I'm a
like, I'm
fighter.
a, and he's like, I don't believe you, I don't, because she really didn't believe it, and then she got into jail and was like, nah, I'm a fighter, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. She came into her own in regards to facing up to Ghostface at the end. It was kind of like Laurie Strode in H2O confronting her Frankenstein. I'm done running. You know what I mean? I'm going to take this head on.
You're
Done.
right.
You
Yeah,
know, Molly, get the hell out of here. This is my battle. You know
yeah,
what I mean? And stuff like that. And I love that in two movies, you got that in two separate situations. You got it with her mother, and then you got it with Ghostface. I think that's pretty cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, both are great. I mean, they're neck and neck, if anything, man. Like they're because you see her growth in Scream One, Scream Two. It's like she's becoming a strong woman, and
Hmm.
she even goes through traumatic stuff there with Derek and everything. And that was the point. I was just like, man, like what else bad can happen to this girl? And she just like chooses to just kick ass. Like you see it in her eyes when she was crying, and she's just like struggling with this. Like I could see when the camera was on her, like she's struggling with this pain, hurt, scared, but there's a transition in her eyes to where she's like, one thing you forgot about Billy Loomis, I fucking killed him. And that's when she chose to being like, no, the hell with you. I'm about to kick your ass. I'm done. I'm not going to be a victim. You're a victim now. You know, like, and like it was kick ass. It was a kick ass moment. I love the delivery.
Did you say, you got this whole Linda Hamilton thing going?
Hmm.
Like, and she did.
Yeah.
And I will throw this real quick, Destin. I actually agree with you when I think about it now. The worst portrayal of Sydney was Scream 4. And the reason why I say that is because you really didn't get much out of her.
No,
You really did. You
she
didn't
was
really
held.
get
She
much.
held back. She was really held
Yeah.
back in that one.
And
Uh,
plus, we were focused on these newer characters with Jill, Kirby, stuff like that. So I feel like that the reason why Sydney didn't come off the way that we usually are used to seeing her come off was because of that. Because she kind of was like this side character now. You know what
yeah.
I mean? Who was just middle of everything. But they also just kind of, I don't know if you took it the way I did, but like Sydney was like really somber in that movie. Like
No, no,
really
she
somber.
was. She was very, very calm. Like that's why I was kind of like I didn't feel like she was giving it her all in Scream 4. Like it was
Right.
kind of like I don't know if that's how her character was written or if that's just how she was portraying it, but it was like she just seemed very chill. And maybe that's how it was written. Like she's like, "Oh, I've already done all this before. None of this shit's really shocking me." You know, it could have been something like that, but I mean, I wanted I mean, she kicked ass a little bit in the hospital, but we never really got a kick ass moment where Sydney's like, "Oh, she's beating ass right now." You know, it was kind of like you don't fuck with the original, blow, or something like that. You
Right.
know, like a one liner or like putting the clear to her head. You know, like she was always wounded or held down or something like that. And she wasn't let loose. She wasn't able to let loose in Scream 4.
I'll put it this way. Think about the first three movies, especially, when it was time to get down to the get down. She
Yeah.
had a certain aggression to her. In Scream 4, she shows up at Kirby, come on, Jill, and she's crying and shit. That's not Sydney. Like, that's not Sydney Prescott. And Sydney Prescott knows she's walking into a situation where she's about to kick some killers' asses. She's not sitting there, she's not running up to the situation crying her eyes out. For an example, when we got her back in Scream 5, I'm Sydney fucking Prescott. Of course I have a gun. She shows up to Stu's house. There wasn't no like tears of emotion, none of that. She was ready to get down to fucking business.
Yeah.
Scream 4.
Scream 5, she was
Scream 4
great.
is
She was really great when she came to play. She was just like, no, we're going. Let's go right now. And
right. We're
she's
not playing these games. Like,
yeah.
and Scream 4, I agree with you. They kind of, they kind of pussified the character in that movie.
Especially when Charlie grabs her from behind and it's like, you think anyone gets away? And he's like holding her, and I'm like, my Sydney, just like Jennifer was in Scream 3, my Gail would be this, my Gail would be that. No, my Sydney would kick Charlie's ass. My Sydney would say, fuck your shoulder, you about to get stabbed in the face. like,
You must not have been informed that Charlie had superhuman strength, so that wasn't happening.
it wasn't him, it was Stu.
Yo, you gonna stop disrespecting my boy?
Shoulder me, shoulder me, shoulder me. That's not how we rehearsed it.
No, honestly though, because I'll put it this way: if they would have kept Charlie in costume for that, it would have felt more physically imposing.
Okay, I give it that.
Because of, and I will also say this: because of Rory's height, him having Sydney like that, it didn't look right. It really didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what, Roy's 5'6". You know what I mean? So it just didn't look. He's not a big guy, so it didn't look imposing. So I can see why that bothers you.
Yeah.
And stuff. So, but hey, man, come on, with fucking slack.
I am, man. I am. I'm cutting him some slack right now. Another one, like, okay, so I see DM Haynes, he also said he enjoyed Scream 3. This is following up on his super chat. And thank you so much, DM. I really appreciate you. It means the world, man. He says, I enjoyed Scream 3, Sid, when she had the scuffle with Ghostface near the catering table. She puts Ghostface, aka Angelina's lights out. Literally makes me laugh each time. Great point. She's a badass in Scream 3. And I almost picked Scream 3. I really did, because that blowout between her and Roman is fucking awesome. And and then like going back in the Stumacher house on the set of Stab 3 and all that stuff. Like the only reason why I did not pick, and I think she's fucking badass. But the only reason why I did not pick Scream 3 is because Scream 2 I feel like is the transition to her badassery. It's like I literally, I don't know if anybody else felt it, but I literally saw it in her eyes when she transitioned from victim to hunter for a moment. Like, it was like, oh shit, she's down to business. I expected her to do that in Scream 3, and that's what we got. I was like, all right, she's going to deal with this head on, and it's great. But we saw that arc in Scream 2.
That is true. And real quick, I do want to say this. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm starting to think that was Stu's lights that she punched out in that scene. Yeah. But that's just me, buddy. That's just me. I don't think that was Angelina. And I really hope we get some back
near the catering table. Remind me near the catering table. She punched his lights out
on the set when Ghostface grabbed her through the window in her room.
Oh yeah.
In her house.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
And they landed on that catering table, and she they were scuffling, and Sydney punched him in the face. And then basically got up, ran right back through the front door. Ghostface got up behind, basically got up and chased her. I think that's Stu now. I do. I don't think it was Angelina. I don't. I think if they really want to, they could say that was Stu Macher. And I personally believe that it was, because I will forever go down this hill. I will die on this hill.
Running up that hill.
Roman Berger put Schumacher's replicated house on the set for a reason.
Wouldn't it be funny if, like, Schumacher gets real? You know how many black eyes you've given me, woman? You know how many scars? You want to talk about your scars? You know how many scars you've given me? Like,
I could say like that too.
yeah.
You
Scars?
gotta love the fact that-
Like, you
you
giving me
gotta
some
love the
scars.
fact that line where he says to Skeet, "Hey, why you hit me with the phone, kid?" That was actually not supposed. That wasn't the line.
I know.
He actually, like, that's awesome. Like,
I
and they kept
want
it in the-
I want there to be a moment. Let's say Stu's back. I want to see, like, Sydney grab a phone and just, like, kind of like hit him a few times. Just like, like, you know, like, not kill him with it, but like beat his ass with it for a second. And they kind of like run off and then they do something else. You know, like just to call back being like, and this time instead of
Yo.
you hit me with the phone, dick, it's you hit me with the phone, bitch. Like,
Yeah.
that's it's scarring me.
Yo. Yo. Oh, man.
Dude, I
Yo,
think it'd be funny as
I
hell.
swear, man. See, that's the beautiful thing about this character, Schumacher, is that he's so fucking crazy. He's so crazy, and he is intimidating. We know he's a psychopath, but he has these moments where you can look past that psychoticness and just bust the fuck out laughing.
Yeah.
You know
He has
what I mean?
he still has that likability. He's just like, man, he's kind of right. He's kind of right, but he's a bad guy.
Hell yeah, man. Like, man, I cannot wait to see what they do with this character, bro. You know, I really can't.
Man, if it does not deliver, dude, I think I said it about 6, but it's definitely about Scream 7. And with them doing Scream 8, they gotta have something confident and fresh and something they're like, okay, this is a definite win here. I said Scream 6 was going to be make it or break it, but I think Scream 7 is going to be make it or break it, depending on how they do these characters. Because it might not work. People might, like, honestly, the Billy Loomis having visions of your dead dad in Scream 5 and 6, I accepted it, but there was moments I did not like it. I was like, it's too much. Not feeling it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really wasn't feeling the whole Ghost Billy thing too. I liked the one part in the car, you know, in the dialogue.
Yeah.
But all the other shit, seeing him in the mirror in the final act, and now the Ghostface line when she goes up to his box and gets his knife and cuts his costume, I can deal with it in that regard. But there was just sometimes where, like, in the mirror, in the hospital, didn't need to see him there. Did not need to see him there. You know, when he
that really took me out, man. That took me out at that moment. I was kind of like, damn. And then the way the cop runs in, she's like, he's in there, and he's just kind of like, I'm like,
where?
What the fuck are we doing right now? This looks so choppy and bad. Like, this looks like B-movie shit. Like, I didn't buy the cop. I didn't buy the setup. I didn't like the whole her using the table and the chairs and Ghostface is just kind of stabbing and she's ducking and dodging. I was like, this feels like on the fly directing. Like, this wasn't originally supposed to be a part of the movie. This feels like something that was plugged in because we needed something. Just did not like that at all. I didn't like that scene at all. That was the scene I was kind of like.
I didn't like the hospital, any of the hospital scenes as a whole. Like, you mean to tell me during that whole scene where Dewey, gets killed off, nobody's in that fucking hospital? Nobody.
Well, that level, I think it was cut from the movie, but there was a point that, like, something was going on and they moved her to a level to where it was just, like, isolated. And I think that was cut from the movie.
it just, I don't know, man. I didn't like
It did feel very. It felt very. It felt cheap. I mean, it.
Yeah. Like, my thing is, I mean, even if it is an isolated area or whatever, you mean to tell me there ain't going to be at least one or two fucking nurses checking in? Something?
Yeah, there was like no
Like,
nurses, no other patients, no other anything.
the
And if the lights
one
were
guard,
off,
the guard got killed.
the guard got killed. Yeah, that was kind of like in the
You
Scream
know,
TV series in one of those episodes. There's an
yeah,
episode
we
where,
could go on the mishaps of
yeah,
Scream 5. Like how the killer that kills Dewey, and it's supposed to be Amber, is wearing a fucking bulletproof vest, but in the final act, she decides not to wear a bulletproof vest. Make sense.
yeah.
You did a lot
That's
of,
why.
they had a lot
That's
of,
why, because there is so many loopholes and everything with 5 and 6. I feel like they should play it off as a stab movie, a movie within the movie, because they're Roman numerals too. Like you could just kind of, like, I don't know. It's going to be hard to write it in, but I don't run it by a guy and Kevin Williamson to kind of make it make sense.
I just, why, my whole thing would be, and I think fans would question this too if they did do that, why would Sydney be a part of a stab movie? You know, like,
They could mention, like, know how expensive it was to get Sidney Prescott to make an appearance in this movie, and what they would have to do, they'd have to bring back Jack Champion, Amber, maybe Amber, but maybe at least Jack Champion, and other players being like, showing respect to Sydney, like, thank you so much for being a part of this movie. Thank you for this. Thank you. Like, they're gonna have to like really build that up at the beginning of the movie to kind of get us on board with that.
they could play off that idea because of, the whole money dispute thing for Scream 6. They could play off of that. I don't know, man. I just personally,
You know
I
what I
don't, I
think?
just think,
I'm gonna call it right now. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you talk, and then I'm gonna say something. And we are gonna be ending the stream very soon, if unless we get like a super chat to kind of prolong it. But we do need to get over to our other stream over on Marcus's channel, because I do got some Final Destination thoughts. I want to hear what you
but
think.
no, I just wanted to say it ain't much. I just feel like that's something they wouldn't do with the character.
Yeah.
Like, because you gotta remember, she basically sued the studio, and it was mentioned in Scream 4. She she sued the studio if they continued to use her story.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I just can't see Sydney doing that, and that's why it was mentioned that they started telling other stories, and that's why the franchise went to shit. Time travel was the worst by far. And stuff like that. So unless I mean, it's not impossible to think that they could play, because Scream is very self-referential. If they do play into the idea of Nev not coming on for Scream 6 because of money, if Sidney Prescott said, okay, well, if you're going to do a stab movie, I'll make an appearance, because this is something that just popped in my head. Stab 5 or Scream 5, however the fuck you want to term it, Stab 2022, whatever. It wasn't about Sidney Prescott. It was
Yeah.
about Billy Loomis.
Right.
So, you could do something like that and play off that whole, Nev not, selling up for because of money. You could. I mean, ask you this: how much money do you think it would take for Sidney Prescott to do a stab movie?
20 plus.
I said the same thing, bro. You gotta give me 20 plus mil. Heck, I want something on the back end too. I want producer credit. I want this. I want that.
Yeah. Yeah. Royalties off the movie, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that, man. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that that's the way that they should go, but I can see them kind of like doing like a whole like self-referential thing with like what's going on with the movie, kind of like throwing it in your face, like
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like throwing it up front, like we know what you're thinking, and we're gonna show it to you, and we're gonna kind of play on that meta approach at the beginning of this movie because it's a movie within a movie, and we're gonna address the Sydney situation, we're gonna address the Carpenter sisters situation, we're gonna do all that stuff to kind of like make everybody laugh and giggle a little bit and be like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I see what you did there, and move forward.
right.
And I wouldn't run it past them, man.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't see that.
Yeah, I honestly I wouldn't run it past them, man. I kind of expected a little bit of little pokes and nods there. Um,
Right.
Now, one person that I think that could be an opening kill. We are going to be wrapping up the stream. We got about 5 minutes left, and then we're going to be migrating over to Marcus's channel, talking about Final Destination Bloodlines. Um, I could see Mindy being the opening kill. I could see her getting a phone call from Ghostface, and she thinks she knows it all. She knows all the rules. She knows this, and that, and she's being cocky with it. And she misses an answer. She misses a rule or something, and she ends up getting killed.
This is why I want Randy, an AI form of Randy, to make that call. It would be
Mm.
such a cool thing to see because we poke fun about it all the time. You know, she's nothing like Randy. You know what I mean? She can't even predict the killers right. Randy was able to predict the killers in both movies. He called Billy and he called Mickey. You know, so I personally think that I do think Mindy's gonna die in this movie, one way or another. I personally would love to see Ghostface use an AI form of Randy to make that phone call and taunt her and be like, oh, you're not like me. You never be like me. Something like that, just to fuck with her, and that, basically leads into her death. I'd be okay with that. Like, it's not a knock on Jasmine Savoy Brown. I personally don't care for the Mindy character. I don't. I know Kevin Williamson does love the character, so that's going to be interesting to see what he has planned for the character and if he is going to kill the character off. But I feel like if you're going to keep any of the twins around, it should be Chad. I mean, for all the shit the man just went through in the last two movies, if you kill him out off in this one, I just feel like it would be pointless because you should have just did that in the last two movies. So out of the twins, I do think Mindy is on the chopping block.
Yeah. And we're going to end it here. I'm going to give my 2 cents on this. And yeah, I agree with you, Marcus. I do think she's on the chopping block. And I think that maybe if Mindy is the opening kill or killed early on in the movie, that brings Chad to come seek out Sydney. Because if his sister gets killed, and then we hear that there's a Ghostface killing near Sydney with her daughter or whatever, he might flock to her for guidance, support, and everything. Like I'm here to support you. Like my sister got killed, and she's like, I heard, but now you're here in Indiana, so I took the first flight out here to find you and everything. Like I could see that bringing Chad into the mix if Mindy gets killed because he's probably gonna want to I want to find this son of a bitch who killed my sister. You know, like I could see him taking that type of approach with Sydney. Um, but yeah, this has been Scream Talk. Great questions, everybody. Good to see you, Craven. We'll see you tomorrow night. We'll be on Craven's channel tomorrow night, talking some more Scream theories and stuff. Thank you for supporting the channel. I did not get to everybody's chat comment. I do apologize. We are limited here But I do love your faces, and I will see y'all on the next one. Hopefully, come over and show us some love over at Marcus's channel for some Final Destinations talk. We're going to be up in just a moment. We'll see your faces in just a moment.
Give us about 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
I got to reset everything on the stream.
Sounds good. About 15 minutes. We love your faces. Thank you for the support. And we'll see you next week on some Scream Talk. I'll see you later. I will see you on another time. We'll be right back. Peace.